There's a great contrast between what Dominic Raab is doing now and what other people in the Conservative Party in power are doing now following his resignation. So on the one hand, we've got a movement to limit the time period when people can make complaints about bullying. We've also got Oliver Letwin telling us that there isn't a them and us situation, that there's more of a collaboration with civil servants and ministers. And anyway, surely it was only a short while ago that we had stories of Gordon Brown throwing things at civil servants and shouting at officials in Downing Street. It's no great secret what happened with Gordon Brown when he was Prime Minister. I don't think that kind of conduct from him would be acceptable in today's climate. So we've got that sort of blame apportioning. And then at the same time, we've got Dominic Raab's failure to atone. So Dominic Raab has left in defiance as well as in disgrace. It's a graceless, whingy rant that we read in the Daily Telegraph, if we bothered to read the Daily Telegraph, blaming everyone and anyone other than himself. And his ERG friends like David Davis are joining in that rant, despite the fact that he had support, he had guidance, he had a very experienced barrister helping him. But I think the problem for Dominic Raab is he looks back and he sees Priti Patel getting away with it, breaches of the ministerial code without consequences. Of course, Suella Braverman is possibly the only example he can look at where somebody has left the ministerial post and feigned contrition and then come back relatively quickly, that return to power. That's the old system. You leave, you admit error, you say you're going to learn, and you're back, in Suella Braverman's case, in a couple of weeks. In Priti Patel's case, it's a sort of standoff between the system and the personalities, supported by the Prime Minister. Owen Paterson is another example where that was supposed to happen and it didn't. So maybe with public pressure, we've got to the end of this sort of pretense. And we've got to a point where instead of a wrongdoing being identified and immediately a resignation being proffered or a sacking happening, we've got this long drawn-out investigation followed by a meaningless, whingy departure with no hope of return. And I think that's probably a regret, because no matter whether we like or dislike Dominic Raab, he has experience. No matter whether we like or dislike Priti Patel or Suella Braverman, these people are people with experience. Now, I don't like many of the things that they say, but I can't but accept that these are people of experience. Even somebody like Nadine Dorries, who I think is broadly speaking inept. She is inept with 20 years of cutting-edge experience at the top of government. And that is worth something. It's certainly worth something to businesses who will be only too happy, who will be lining up to get these people on their board, offer them some sort of sinecure. But it comes with rules, and I think Raab is not playing by the rules. That part of the rules is recognising that there's a time to go. Part of the rules is recognising that there is a route back. And Raab's petulant strop doesn't acknowledge any of that. But then, equally, Raab would be a very difficult person to fit anywhere else. Raab's seat also is under threat from the Liberal Party. If Raab can survive as an ex-minister, that's one thing. Can he actually survive as a member of Parliament? That's another. His seat is targeted. He'll be very lucky to retain his seat at the next election.